Welcome back to Sports Hour here on A News. My name's Nick Summerbee. I'm going to take you around Europe. Nowhere better to start than Madrid. First versus second, Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. Huge game, massive build-up. We only managed to get a draw out of it though, so all of a sudden it's opened up for Barcelona. They can tighten the gap, they can get back into the title race, but really interesting at the moment. Obviously a big game in the midweek as well for Real Madrid. They play Manchester City in the playoff Champions League, so that's a must-watch as well. It's all starting to heat up now. Bundesliga, Leverkusen only managed a draw against Wolfsburg. And then all of a sudden, it was all about Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, can't speak highly enough about them at the moment. I mention them every week with Vincent Kompany. Harry Kane with 2 more goals. That's 21 goals in 19. I know I keep mentioning him on the show every week, but you can't help but not. He's like a goal-scoring machine. And who is going to stop Bayern Munich? Absolutely flying at the moment. The same with Paris Saint-Germain. They beat Monaco 4-1 in a huge game, expecting Paris Saint-Germain maybe to drop some points with a massive game against Brest in the midweek. They did. And Dembele with 2 goals as well. Another player who I keep mentioning. These players are really hitting form at the right time. They're 13 points clear now. It's about what they can do in the Champions League. They've had the big names at Paris, but now all of a sudden they've got youth. And all of a sudden this could be the year where maybe it could be a surprise package to go all the way in the Champions League. Looking good for it at the moment. As I take you on to England, a lot's been happening, a lot of cup football. Carabao Cup we had on Wednesday night. And Thursday we had Liverpool versus Spurs. Spurs going in with a 1-goal lead. Could they go to Anfield and could they get their hands? Could Ange Postecoglou get his hands on that first trophy? He said in the second season of every club he's been at, he's won a trophy. Wasn't to be the case at all. Not one shot on target. Liverpool won 4-1. It was the Spurs fans weren't happy, the pundits weren't happy, and rightly so as well. Spurs looking for that trophy after so many years. It was just disappointing. Well done by Liverpool. Who's going to stop them? The game before, which was Newcastle and Arsenal, Newcastle won 2-0 down at Arsenal, and they thought, right, could they go and finish it off at St James's Park? They did more than that. What a atmosphere, what a game of football. Eddie Howe, congratulations to your men. Isaac on form, Murphy on form, Bruno on form. I couldn't just mention just a couple of players, it was the whole team. Solid. We know what Arsenal are like. Set pieces. They dealt with it. They've got a big, strong team. So the final with the Carabao Cup, which is on the 6th of March, is a must-watch. This is Liverpool. Who is going to stop them? But if there's anyone who can stop them in a one-off game of football, it could be Eddie Howe's men because of how aggressive they are, and they can score goals going forward as well. So that's set up for an absolute cracker. Then at the weekend, we didn't have Premier League. We went into the FA Cup. Chelsea out. From the form what we saw early in the season, just don't seem to be having it. They lost 2-1 to Brighton. Manchester City found it difficult. They cannot keep a clean sheet at the moment. At Leyton Orient, they went a goal behind, but managed to bring it back to 2-2. Coventry against Ipswich. Ipswich won 4-1. That'll give them a bit of confidence going into the Premier League with their relegation battle at the bottom. Everton, David Moyes, who's done a wonderful job since coming to Everton. He's out of the FA Cup now after a defeat of 2-0 at Bournemouth. Southampton, they're out. The Premier League team against Burnley. Scott Parker, what a job he is doing in the Championship. We will be seeing them in the Premier League next year. Great job. They beat Southampton 1-0. Birmingham City, a lot happening, which we'll talk about later on in this show. Wonderful game against Newcastle. 3-2 Newcastle beat them, so Birmingham don't go on from there, but a must-watch with Birmingham in their future, what's going to happen with them. Wigan and Fulham. Fulham 1-2-1, the Premier League outfit. Stoke against Cardiff. Cardiff won. They won on penalties 3-3. What a game of football that was. Preston and Wickham. Preston went through. And Leeds United. Leeds United, top of the Championship at the moment, looking like they're going to be in the Premier League. They got beat by Millwall. So it is all happening. All the games are going on. A lot of cup football. Don't forget this week as well, which I spoke about in the last show as well. It's the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. So keep your eye out for that during the midweek. That's exciting. And now we're going to bring you to talking points. I usually bring one out at the end of every show, but there's quite a few which I think we should look at and take a bit of interest with. And obviously, if you can come out with your opinions, we will put our websites on. Please get back to us. There's so much to talk about in sport. The talking points to start off is Pep Guardiola did an interview and he's expecting the results of the 115 charges. There's a case going on at the moment against Manchester City, my former team. And he's expecting the results to come around in about the next month or so. So watch that. There's talk about relegation, losing trophies, or are they not? Is nothing going to happen to Manchester City? They're spending money, which they've done. They spent over 170 million in this transfer window. They're spending over 400 million on the stadium with a hotel at the side of it. They don't seem to be worried about that, and they never have been. But it's vitally important that we get this mess sorted out, and all of a sudden Manchester City can get back on and people can stop talking about them. So expect in the next month or so it's going to be huge news around the world that you're going to get the verdict of what's actually happening. These 115 charges against Manchester City. Next up as well, Ronaldo. It's his 40th birthday last week. I'm sure everybody saw him celebrating. He celebrated with a goal, and so did John Duran, the new signing from Aston Villa. He got 2 goals, so a great start for him. I think it was over 65 million they paid for the man from Aston Villa. But my question is to you, Ronaldo. He's 40 years old at the moment. What are your opinions? How long do you think he can play for? We know he's going to be in the World Cup end of next season. You know, when is the time? When is it enough? Can he keep going on? Can he play in the next Euros after that? I want to know what your feelings are. Should he just be in club and not country? Should he be coming on, not playing all the games and being an impact player? Should they have him around the Portuguese squad? I want to hear, I want to understand what you're saying. I know his records, I know he's one of the best footballers in the world, but what are your opinions? Will they be better without him? Because at the moment, you have to say he's breaking all records still now at 40 years old. But I just want to hear what you think about that. For me, I think you keep him. Obviously, Al Nassr, club football, he has an awful lot to give for Saudi with the brand, with him scoring goals. But as for Portugal, I think there has to be the next players coming through. I still think he should be in the squad, and I think he should be an impact player. Not playing all the time. It's about who's coming up behind him, who's going to get into the team. But that's only my opinion. I want to hear what you have to say. The next, the World Club Cup, which is happening at the end of the season. It's the first time this tournament is actually taking place, and it is taking place in America. The tickets have been slashed. If you look and you read about some of the prices of the tickets, is it going to be a success? Jurgen Klopp had his say on it. He cannot understand why this tournament is taking place. Too much football. And there is as well, you look at internationally for these players, you look domestically, you look the bigger Champions League, and all of a sudden now this new tournament has been put in place. What are your thoughts with that? Are you looking forward to it? You know, I want to hear what you have to say about that. I think there's too many games at the moment. We have to condense it. We have to look after these players. We're taking the quality away. It's possibly too much games. We have to look after the players, and then we give me quality instead of quantity. And I just think, for example, you look at Manchester City, my old team, they will play this season. They will go to the World Club Cup. They will have 3 weeks off if they go far in the competition. Then they start the Premier League, and let's not forget as well that the end of next season is the World Cup. So there is no time off for these players, and I'm just interested to feel, what are your points of view on this? Do you like the World Club Cup? Do you think that the Champions League format is good? It's the new format as well this season, so what's your point of view of that? Is it taking us too long to get to the last 16? Because that's where the nitty-gritty is. When we get to the quarterfinals, when we get to the semi-finals, that's the exciting part. It just seems to be taking a long time to get there. Give me your points of view on that. I said as well about Birmingham City before, an awful lot which is happening with them. They have a 20-year project, which is Tom Brady, the American footballer, the legend American footballer, and Tom Wagner are involved. Obviously, they've bought Birmingham City. They're looking to build a new stadium outside of Birmingham. Let's not forget that Birmingham is the second city. Obviously London, people think it's Manchester, but Birmingham is the second city. And the idea is what they have for this stadium. This is to have concerts, to have American football, to have everything. So you would have Wembley, and then obviously you would have this stadium in Birmingham. $3 billion it's going to cost. It's a 60,000 seater stadium. There's going to be a tunnel built as well from the city centre to this stadium. If you just read about it and look at the ideas, they are now at the moment in Division 1 and they are flying high at Division 1, but just keep your eye on the progress of what's going to happen in Birmingham and what it's going to do to the second city. And obviously with these American owners and their ideas of how the future of football is going to be. We have a lot of American owners in England, Leeds United, Liverpool, there's Manchester United. You know, there is a lot of American owners, and we just want to think, what is their future going to be? I think they look at these projects and they've not even started with it. So it's interesting the direction of which way football is going to go. But Birmingham City is definitely a club, and those huge names which are surrounding it. Whew. That is me for this week. Anything which is up to date, I will bring to you. As I said to you, please get back to us, get in contact. Let's hear from you, your points of view, not just football, in anything. You get back to me, and we'll have our little bit of a debate though. But that's me for this weekend. My name's Nick Summerbee, Sports Tonight here on A News. I'll see you next week.